Daniel Garcia is in the bakery with the rest of the family, all busy putting together their usual masterpiece, when Mateo, his DJ brother, who's yet to find his feet, starts singing at the top of his lungs. Not one to keep things to himself, Mateo blurts out that Daniel is taking Vanessa out on a date to mark 4 years of being together. He goes on to mention the spot she picked, and the moment the name Paolo leaves his mouth, their father nearly loses it. That place costs a fortune, and the old man jokingly can't help but wonder what happens if the girl finds out that the man treating her to a high-end meal still lives with his parents. They head into the main area where Mari, their mother, is working, and the lover boy defends himself, saying he's only at home to keep her calm. Plus, she's made it clear she wouldn't let him leave until there's a wedding ring involved. Once the word marriage gets into the air, it lingers until an uproar breaks out. Right after Mateo jokes about their mother's menopause, Natalie, the youngest in the house, jumps into the mix with her own advice, telling her brother to make a move before the girlfriend does. Their dad, seeing the kid trying to act like part of the boardroom, tells her to stay out of grown-up matters. He reminds her she's got brains, unlike the boys, who've settled for the shop life, and says she's got what it takes to aim higher. The girl flips on the TV, and the screen lights up with breaking news. Noah Hamilton, music sensation turned fashion powerhouse, is surrounded by press as the world buzzes over her breakup with actor Colin Davies, who got caught kissing his co-star. Mari brushes it off, saying the celebrities have never done a hard day's work, but the youngest Garcia fires back, defending the pop star's work ethic. The singer built 2 companies before turning 20 and has been grinding non-stop ever since. At Paolo's, Vanessa's eyes light up as she looks through the menu, eager to try everything on it, but Daniel's more concerned about how much it's all going to cost. When she starts talking about getting a place and having kids, he nearly chokes on his water, but he eventually excuses himself to the restroom and talks to his reflection. That's when Noah walks in and catches him mid-rant. She's laid back and she chats with him like they've known each other for years. Vanessa puts her plan in motion back at the table, grabbing attention, saying a few words, singing a bit with the guitarist, then pulling out a ring and proposing. Daniel looks uncomfortable and says no, so she furiously dumps soup on him and announces who she is. Then she storms out. His brother refuses to come get him, claiming he's got a big gig, so Noah offers a ride. She decides to cheer him up by taking him spray painting on her mural, while hanging from a rooftop harness. Meanwhile, Vanessa's at home, blaming herself. Daniel talks about the family bakery and how tight they all are as they hang midair, and it hits a soft spot in her. Vanessa calls the house, and when she hears he's not there, she heads out to find him. Mari quickly calls Mateo, who checks in and confirms Daniel's okay. After fans gather to watch them paint the mural, they slip off to a restaurant where the pop star asks the baker to whip up some pastries, and she ends up loving every bite, until her manager barges in to whisk her away. Back home, the younger brother breaks the wild news that Daniel is out with Noah, and just as the shock sets in, Vanessa shows up. Now it's on him to keep her calm before she does anything crazy. Meanwhile, the new friends hit the club, and before long, they're grinding on the dance floor, laughing through the night. She'd earlier said she wanted to tick off a few wishes, and she nails one by calling Natalie. After the call, she praises his cool, grown-up energy, even after she and her friends flirted with him all night. The moment heats up fast, they lock eyes and almost kiss, but the phone lights flashing from onlookers sours the mood. He goes to get her a drink, and that's when Colin shows up to explain himself. Noah's manager doesn't waste time either, pulling Daniel aside to drop a warning that he should walk away now, or be her emotional crash pad. Daniel's not having it, so he returns the shirt the guy gave him and storms out. He treks home and crashes till morning, only waking up when the bakery is buzzing with customers. Turns out Noah tagged them in her post. While the whole family basks in the spotlight, he's fast asleep in the back until someone comes knocking, and it's Noah. At the start of the next episode, Noah talks about what happened at the club while they are at the beach. She says she's sorry for what Lewis said, and she admits that she sometimes treats people in ways she regrets, but she feels things are different with him, and she wishes he hadn't left. He accepts the apology, and before they leave, she invites him to her birthday party in a few days, and he says he will be there. The family talks about Daniel's strange situation with the famous singer back at the bakery. The dad thinks she might bring trouble, but Mari's more focused on how their sudden connection is boosting sales. They all nudge him to go to the party, and Natalie excitedly announces they just hit their highest sales ever, which puts everyone in high spirits until Vanessa walks in. She pulls Daniel aside, pressing him about his time with Noah so soon after their breakup. He stays honest, denying anything romantic, but she's not ready to let go. She lays it out clearly that she'll be at their favorite spot in a few days. If he shows up, they're back on, and if that's not the case, then she'll take it as her cue to move on. It's Noah's birthday, and Daniel pulls up in the family's delivery van, walking into the lavish venue and making his way to the front, earning a playful wink from the birthday girl. Back at the bakery, orders keep flooding in, but Marie still takes one more from Thomas, who is a popular food critic. Her husband's not thrilled about the risk, especially with their recent popularity, but she talks him down and seals it with a kiss. That's all the push he needs to bake his prized Magnificos to fill the critic's order. Meanwhile, Vanessa has a breakdown after realizing Noah's name is on almost every shirt she owns. Still torn, she snaps out of it and decides to grab a sultry set of lingerie, perfect for the night. Noah's best friend, Piper, is at the venue and chats with Daniel, teasing him a little. He jokes that his brother is hoping to get his track played by the DJ, and Piper actually offers to pass the song along, suddenly turning the night into a possible break for Mateo. But things start going off the rails. Natalie bumps into Vanessa at the lingerie shop, both awkwardly trying on pieces. The oven at the bakery blows, ruining Thomas's order. And at the party, Daniel ends up alone and sidelined as Noah gets swept up in the celebration, barely noticing him. Daniel tries to walk his dad through the oven fix over the phone, but the reception's terrible, so he decides to head home. The problem is, his van's stuck in a packed lot, and he ends up waiting for hours. Just as he finally gets his turn to pull out, Piper blocks his path, claiming Noah needs him. Somehow she talks him into staying. Turns out, the birthday girl isn't big on birthdays, and she only throws the parties for work. After an emotional call to her mom at the care home, she lets herself cry for a bit, then forces on a smile when Daniel shows up, standing Vanessa up. She tells him about her mother's illness and how nice it is that he doesn't fully understand how famous she is. He tells her to put on something fun so they can sneak away for the night to cheer her up. In the meantime, his kid brother runs back into the bakery with good news that the oven is working again. But the excitement fades quickly when it blows up again. As the two sneak off with Louis's quiet blessing, and Vanessa plots her next move to win him back, Thomas shows up at the bakery for his order. The old man only manages 4 Magnificos out of 50, but they're so perfect that the critic drops his complaints and even offers to help fix the oven. Mateo's song gets played back at the party, and Daniel sends him the video, which puts a huge smile on his face as the family celebrates his first break. Daniel and Noah go to the beach where they lie on the shore and look at the moonlight, but when she leans in and kisses him, it turns into something deeper, and he kisses her back. She suggests they go for a swim, and before long, they're waist deep in the water with no one else around. Their skin brushes against each other as they get lost in the moment. The star wants her new friend to join her in Puerto Rico for a charity event, and he says yes without thinking twice. So he quickly packs a bag while his brother throws in some words of caution, reminding him not to rush decisions like this. Their mom's on board, but still slips him a rosary for protection. And their dad keeps it blunt that these big names can use a regular guy and toss him aside. Meanwhile, Louis isn't having it and hopes Piper will back him up. But her best friend thinks taking Daniel on the trip might actually be good for Noah. The singer's getting ready for her event when Daniel walks in, his usual upbeat self, lighting up the room. But Louis quickly ruins the vibe with his stiff rules that there will be no romantic gestures, no headlines, and he even makes the baker sign an NDA. Noah laughs it off, but Louis isn't joking around. Elsewhere, Vanessa nearly fumbles her pitch when she spots a clip of Daniel away on a trip, but she keeps it together and seals the deal in no time. The buyer is clearly stressed and in need of a DJ for his son's party. And just like that, she sees an opening to slip back into the Garcia family by offering DJ Cubano the gig. In Puerto Rico, the fashion icon handles Colin's surprise appearance during the interview like a pro, then gets whisked away to Piñones by the baker boy, with Louis's reluctant go-ahead. They dive into the local food and nightlife, eventually breaking one of the manager's biggest rules when they can't stop themselves from kissing. She records videos of him, impressed by how effortlessly chill he is, then opens up about her childhood, in which she barely saw her mom and hardly got a moment with her dad. She shares her dream of meeting Melanie Kahn and giving acting a shot. Just as they lean in again, her phone rings. It's Louis saying Melanie wants to meet. Mateo blows his chance with Weiss, a big music executive and Vanessa's client, after feeling insulted by the kind of music he's to play. But Vanessa will fix it. Melanie Kahn is thrilled to finally meet the singer. She donates to the charity, then she casually drops a bomb that there's a role waiting for her in her next film, and it's thanks to a glowing recommendation from Colin, who's also starring in it. The offer puts her in a tough spot. Either she chases the dream she's always wanted, or keeps her distance from the ex who broke her heart. Daniel thinks the answer's simply to ignore the guy and go for what she wants. The mood shifts when Piper returns with bad news. The gala venue is flooded, and unless they pull off a miracle in a few hours, the event's done for. Luckily, Baker Boy has a wild idea that they could throw a food-filled island-style bash instead. Vanessa's plan to help Mateo takes shape as she rallies Weiss's kid and his friends, hyping DJ Cubano until the kids are all in, demanding he headline the party. The move pays off, and Mateo lands the gig. He's grateful, but there's a string attached. Vanessa, still holding on to the hope of getting back with Daniel, casually mentions she now owns 10% of every gig he books. Back in Miami, Mari hears about her daughter's new friend and, curious, invites Amy over using Natalie's phone. But Natalie's hangout with Amy gets cut short when Mari nearly catches them kissing, something Natalie's not ready to face. As she rushes out, her mom's left puzzled, thinking she's found a new buddy, but Natalie says nothing. After Daniel and the team pull off a successful gala, the actor shows up trying to badmouth Noah, but Daniel shuts him down without blinking and walks away. Things only get heavier when the singer finds him moments later to break the news that she's turning down Melanie's movie offer. Back home, Mateo's in high spirits after securing the gig, but the mood in the house is low. Natalie's still withdrawn after Amy left, and when her brother checks in on her, she stays quiet, leaving out the part where they nearly kissed. Mr. Garcia isn't just sick, he's stressed. He knows his son is in deep with the celebrity, and he worries about what'll happen if it all crashes. He's seen enough to know that relationships across those worlds don't always end kindly, and he fears his boy might get lost in it all. Meanwhile, Daniel is still having the time of his life at the gala, this time with the singer by his side. And to keep things under wraps, they take separate paths back to their rooms, fooling the cameras but not losing sight of each other. Once in the elevator, they ignore every bit of Lewis's warning, getting caught up in the moment until a fan walks in asking for an autograph and breaks the tension. They step out of the elevator, and Daniel pulls her in again, kissing her as they stroll down the hallway. But with someone like Noah, privacy is a luxury. And sure enough, someone nearby snaps photos of them mid-kiss, trailing them as they disappear into one of the rooms. In episode 4, back in Miami, the young man in love makes it a routine to bake breakfast for the singer, and on one of such days, his family holds him back. They don't seem to get why he's always running off to her, and not the other way round. When he states his reason is keeping a low profile, the younger sister argues, showing him a picture of them kissing in public. So much for a low profile. Noah keeps replaying the clip of Daniel speaking on camera, clearly smitten and convinced he belongs in front of one. She suggests he try something in that lane, but for him, the plan's always been to take over the bakery, and it's something he has never questioned. When he shows her the photo of them kissing in the hallway, it hits her hard. A picture like that could stir trouble, and she knows how fast the media spins things. He tries to ease her worry with a kiss, and when he brings up how the family meeting went earlier that morning, she surprises him by deciding it's time she met them. Everyone's got things falling into place. Natalie reconnects with her friend, but still feels a bit on edge, and Vanessa keeps lining up DJ gigs for her new client. With the celebrity set to visit the Garcias for dinner, the whole house gets to work. The old man starts cooking one of his specials, even though he's still not sold on the whole relationship. Mateo cancels a gig Vanessa just secured, claiming he's sick, and Natalie ditches her plans to go out with Amy, inviting her over instead. Everyone's jittery and waiting to meet the queen herself. She enters the house, and everyone stands still to welcome her, even though Garcia almost ruins the introductions with a snide comment that everyone brushes aside. Lewis heads out for his blind date with Trevor but decides to walk out on the other man, thinking it's doomed from the start based on how things went in the past. But Noah already prepped Trevor, and he's ready to win the man over. He does just that, and the once emotionally unavailable manager ends up circling back and staying for the date, after all. The star asks for a tour of the bakery, and Raphael is cautious, but he agrees. While showing her around, he shares his worries about the gap between her world and his son's, as he hopes Daniel doesn't end up hurt. But she assures him she genuinely cares for his son, and she promises to treat him right. It's hard to tell if that eases his mind, though, as he keeps his usual unreadable face. Mateo dresses up and joins the family for dinner, where laughter, chatter, and small arguments fill the room, which is exactly the kind of warmth Noah's always longed for. During the meal, Lewis jokes about his old life being straight and married, which draws laughs from both sides of the table. But the waiter who overhears the mention of Noah's location discreetly tips off someone in the press. Mari finishes telling the story of how she met her husband, and the singer, clearly loving all the romance, turns to the younger girls and calls them lovebirds. The room falls silent, as no one saw that coming, and the tension is loud. The girls quietly slip out, and just then, the ex walks in, ready to check on her sick DJ. But instead, she finds him healthy, surrounded by laughter, and everyone getting cozy with the star, which is something she never got from his family. She dumps the soup she brought right on the DJ, and the night crumbles. The celebrity blames herself for messing things up and heads toward the door, but the press is already outside with their cameras out and waiting, trapping her inside. Upstairs, away from the mess, the younger girls finally share their first kiss. Then Natalie walks back out and says she's gay, sending the room into total shock before heading back to her room with Amy. Mari doesn't take it lightly, and she storms off in tears, dragging her husband with her and leaving the younger one sitting in the middle of the chaos. Then there's the heartbroken ex who makes up her mind that if the family won't back her, she'll let the press do the job. But once she steps outside into a wave of camera flashes and questions, she decides instead of dragging the star's name through the mud, she'll keep quiet. So she heads straight to her car and drives off. The press is still itching for drama, and when the doors open again, all cameras turn, but only to find Amy standing there. The singer knows stepping out will drag the Garcias into unwanted attention, so she decides to stay hidden. That's when Rafael offers an escape plan. The bakery's old tunnel is a secret only he and Mari still remember. The pair moves through it while Louis, who's just arrived to fix the mess, joins Rafael's plan to fake a delivery and throw off the press. But just as they near the end of the tunnel, one lone paparazzo waits in the dark. With Amy gone, Papa goes to check on his daughter and lets her know that nothing has changed. He still loves her, and so does her mom, even if she needs time to adjust, so he encourages her to be patient, and the 15-year-old finds some comfort in his words. The manager sits in a consulting room elsewhere, waiting for important news from his doctor, and while he waits, he sends a voice message to Trevor, ending things before they even begin, without offering any explanation. The young couple is curled up in her room and is going over what it would mean to go public with their relationship. She reads out loud the realities they might face once they step into the spotlight. But he doesn't flinch because he's in love, and he believes dealing with cameras is nothing compared to not being with her. In the 5th episode, life in the spotlight has taken a turn for the Garcias. Paparazzi now camp outside their shop, throwing odd questions at Daniel, while brands keep sending in gifts, flooding the bakery with everything from appliances to luxury treats, most of which his family unwraps and uses before he even knows they arrived. But when a shiny convertible shows up parked right in front of the bakery with his name on it, that's where Rafael draws the line. To him, that's pure madness. The budding DJ puts together a hamper and heads over to Vanessa's place to make things right. He apologizes for being a dunce earlier and for turning down the gig just to hang out with their August visitor. He also says he's ready to take his career more seriously. He wants her to manage him because he hopes her grit and way with people can take him further. She agrees, but only if he promises to keep it honest from now on. Before he can get too excited, she sends him off to write something new to mark this fresh start. Marie thinks they should ride the wave of all the attention and strong sales by adding proper meals to the bakery's menu. Papa isn't sold as it'll cost too much, and like always, he falls back on his excuse that he's too old to start anything new. But she's not letting it go, reminding him of the dreams they shared when they were younger. Right then, Natalie walks past, keeping the cold tension alive between mother and daughter. He urges his wife to talk to the girl however she wants, but where he's concerned, the silent war has dragged on too long already. Whenever Louis shows up, it's always something important, and this time's no different. First, he scolds them for driving around in a flashy convertible, warning that it's bad for Noah's image. Then he says the corporation trying to buy her company is back again, but she gives her usual answer, no. Next, it's the gala, and she'll be going with Daniel. But the last bit's the real surprise. The production company she once spoke to about Daniel has seen the Pinoni's video and wants to meet with him. He's caught completely off guard and has no clue how to take the news. Vanessa is working, showing clients around a property, when Kurt swings in to save her from undercover reporters. Being one, he points at 3 others who are just there to dig deep into Daniel's ex. She doesn't care, doesn't budge, and asks the man to leave at once. Mari finally drops her pride and talks to her daughter, taking her out for some girl time. With Daniel doing boyfriend duties, Mateo has to cancel his recording session to stay and help at the bakery. And this doesn't sit well with him. While Noah prepares to join her man at the meeting, Melanie's call comes through, with the hopes that they meet and discuss another project without Colin, and after deliberation, she agrees to meet her, leaving and trusting the baker to handle his meeting. When the meeting kicks off, no one gives him a clue about what's coming, but he handles the surprise pitch on the spot and still manages to impress the company reps. The man who always looks out for the star pays the real estate lady a visit and offers her more money than the asking price for a property, a gesture to keep her ignoring reporters, but she turns it down without a blink. Their respective meeting doesn't end on high notes as the production company wants Daniel to get tats, a motorbike, and occasionally invite his girlfriend to the sessions as part of the deal. Meanwhile, Noah finds out she's meeting Melanie at a kids' party, and without knowing, ends up auditioning just by being great with the children. Melanie wants her to take the lead role in a film that'll keep her in Morocco for 3 months, and now the star isn't sure how to feel about any of it. Daniel heads out to talk to an older friend who runs a roadside eatery, and there, he sees an opportunity and grabs it, recording a video with the owner and putting it out. After standing up for her daughter at the mall, Mari begins to worry about how her little girl will handle being judged by the world over and over again. Meanwhile, the old man makes up for dismissing his son's music dreams by setting up a makeshift recording studio right there in the bakery, a quiet way of showing love after their earlier fallout. The pair has their first real blow-up after Daniel shows Noah a text about Louis trying to buy Vanessa off with a tempting offer. He's upset while the manager claims he's only protecting her. But Noah staying neutral doesn't sit right with Daniel, so he walks off and says he'll wait in the car. Mr. and Mrs. Gracia go over how hectic their day has been when the husband slides a document to her, having decided to take a loan and expand their business. Mari is happy, and so is he. On their way to the event, the pair trash out their issues and make a promise to each other to always sort problems as soon as they encounter one. Noah isn't used to that as her line of work makes it hard for her to be that vulnerable, but she will learn, just as Daniel will also learn to deal with the perks of dating a celebrity. She brings up the idea of him coming to Morocco with her, but he thinks it's a long shot, considering his life back at the bakery. Vanessa closes for the day, and as she steps out, Kurt shows up again. More than persuading her to tell her story, he gives more insights into how it probably all started for the lovebirds. He says the two met before he refused her proposal, even going further to say that it was Noah who suggested the soup he had that day. In the 6th episode, Vanessa is keen on seeing her client rise to fame, and she puts in a lot of work this time, securing a meeting with a top producer. As Mateo dances to the news, punching the air with his fist, Rafael and the contractor go over the details of the expansion. The old man puts a call through to his son, reminding him of the meeting at the bakery, but the man has to be at his baby's side, even though it means forsaking his primary job. Noah starts off strong in her interview, answering questions with ease, but things take a turn when the reporter brings up a viral video of Vanessa's interview with Kurt. The clip reveals what most people didn't know. She and Daniel first met in the restroom right before the public proposal rejection. Outside, the manager is on the phone, assuring his doctor he won't skip the next appointment when Piper rushes out to call him in. He walks in and threatens to make this the last interview the company ever gets with Noah if they don't cut the Vanessa angle. Before anyone can push further, Daniel triggers the fire alarm, forcing the crew into a commercial break. Mateo is mute on Vanessa's interview, preferring to manage his working relationship with the lady. His kid sister thinks he can't put up with that for long, as he'd have to end up picking who he'd be loyal to, his manager or his family. With everything set for an expansion, the contractor says the bakery has to be closed for a week. Even though Rafael doesn't feel comfortable with the idea, he gives in, and he hopes that the man keeps to his word and delivers promptly. Daniel and Louis toss the blame back and forth. The manager claims setting off the fire alarm only gave the story more legs, while lover boy insists that if Louis hadn't approached Vanessa in the first place, she wouldn't have said anything at all. Noah steps in and suggests Daniel head back to the bakery so everyone can cool off, and he agrees. Gideon, a serial entrepreneur and a member of the board, has seen Noah's interview and believes danger looms. He talks to a colleague about acting fast and saving the company from falling apart, also adding that her trip to Morocco will be a good avenue to strike. With retailers and big brands worried about the impact of Noah's recent steps, the star thinks it's time to have a one-on-one meeting with every board and stakeholder. Daniel is back at the bakery, going over the expansion plan. With his pops excited about everything, he decides to chip in on his trip to Morocco. But the old man cuts him short and reminds him of who he is, a Garcia whose world is not in front of the camera and who would one day take over the bakery. It's a reality check for the man, who immediately swallows everything he had to say about the movie trip. Mateo finally picks a side and fires Vanessa, who totally accepts it, says it's best they cut ties. Before showing him the door, she reminds him in good faith to honor the meeting with the producer and not do anything stupid. The Garcias are under fire from all sides. Natalie gets punched after confronting a schoolmate who mocked her family. Noah's board meeting goes well except for Gideon's absence, but Louis suspects the board is faking their support. a fear confirmed when Mark secretly reports back to Gideon. Meanwhile, Mateo's meeting with the producer ends harshly when he's told to quit and stick to the family business. The meeting was really just to scout Vanessa, so Mateo leaves, hurt and in tears. Natalie is facing the school disciplinary committee for fighting. The Garcias find out that the contractor has scammed them out of their money. Kurt also lurks around Daniel, searching for more story, not minding what damage he's done earlier. The Garcia family is falling apart. His parents reject the Morocco trip outright and even blame all their recent troubles on Noah showing up in their lives, but Daniel shifts the blame to Vanessa instead. Louis expects a planned hostile takeover of Noah's company by yet unknown elements, but he's working to thwart such plans. In a brief chat with Piper, who's aware of his recent calls with a doctor, he opens up about being diagnosed with prostate cancer. Daniel visits Vanessa, hoping to convince her to release a statement that would help take the media heat off him and his family, but she says there's nothing she can do. As he steps out, paparazzi swarm him with flashing cameras and questions he ignores until Kurt crosses the line, asking who was better in bed between the two women. That's when Daniel turns back and lands a punch. At the company, Louis has found out that Gideon, Noah's dad, is the one spearheading the takeover of his daughter's company. Mateo does the right thing by revealing that the producer actually wanted a meeting with Vanessa and advises her to go for it. She isn't interested. Rather, she tells him how awesome a singer and DJ she thinks he is. But sadly, he has closed that chapter of his life. With Noah ready to take on her dad to keep her company, she decides to handle it alone, even after Daniel offers to go with her. Natalie struggles with her mom's rule forbidding her from seeing Amy, who she believes is a bad influence. After a gas leak at the bakery, the Garcias receive an official notice from the authorities, ordering a 6-week closure to allow for proper repairs. In the 7th episode, the dining room echoes with silence as everyone keeps a dull countenance. But Mari is tired of the mood and charges everyone to do better. She reminds them of who they are and tells Mateo to keep his dream alive, trashing whatever nonsense he has been told. Next up is her husband, whom she assures that 6 weeks won't be the end of them. She then tells Daniel plainly to be a man and call Noah if that's what he wants. But when she moves on without saying a word to Natalie, the teenager snaps, accusing her of being the real problem in the house. Meanwhile, Noah is sitting across the table with her dad, wondering why he won't let her be, always coming for her. But he says he's only trying to protect her from herself. He brings up the fallout from her actions. They've already lost 3 major clients, with 5 more on the edge of pulling out. He's always tried to build some kind of relationship with his daughter, but the way he goes about it has never really worked for her. Mateo is having a meltdown with what's been unfolding in his life lately. He begins dismantling the studio even though his elder brother tries to talk him out of it, resolute about dropping his musical dreams. Soon, they hear sirens blaring from the front and find the police are there to arrest Daniel for battery and assault on Kurt. Mari snaps over her son's arrest, scolding him as bail is set at $10,000 with $1,000 paid in installments, enough to keep him out. As the family scrambles for funds, Mateo offers up his studio equipment for a loan. At the station, Daniel is released thanks to his ex, who surprises him by showing up after getting Kurt to drop the charges. Meanwhile, Natalie and Amy skip school for a music festival, sparking Mari's fury when she finds out. After Noah gives a heartfelt speech, Gideon steps in and flips the mood. He brings up Daniel's recent assault and felony arrest, using it as proof that she lacks sound judgment. With that, he makes his move by calling for her removal as president of the company. Vanessa and Daniel trek back after getting a flat tire while driving where they weren't supposed to. Along the way, she echoes what everyone's been saying, that his family's troubles started the moment the fashion icon came into the picture. They brush it off and head to grab lunch. During recess, Gideon pulls Louis aside and reveals the real reason behind his takeover attempt. He's drowning in debt and struck a deal with Mark. He'll make him CEO in exchange for access to Noah Corp's balance sheet to secure more loans. Louis hears this and quickly suggests other options. When the meeting resumes, Gideon withdraws his motion, letting Noah remain president. But just as things seem to settle, tragedy hits. Louis lashes out, and in the heat of it, his secret slips. Noah now knows he's sick. At lunch, Vanessa praises the video Daniel made with the woman selling food on the roadside. She thinks he's a natural on camera and urges him to ignore his parents' reservations. After dropping him off, he asks for one last favor. He wants her to talk some sense into Mateo. The talk with Mateo ends with them sharing a brief, unexpected kiss before they both pull away, and she quietly walks out. Back at home, Mari sits down with her kid to make things right, promising to stand by her no matter what she decides about her sexuality. Gideon finally agrees to get funding from Noah Corp after promising to leave the young entrepreneur to run her company. She'd love to know why he always comes at her, but the man doesn't answer, doesn't show any remorse for everything he's put her through. Everything that's happened lately makes Noah realize she's overlooked Louis, who is the one person who has always been there. She feels terrible for missing the signs of his illness and knows she owes him more. But first, she needs to see Daniel. He lights up when he sees her. And for a moment, it's just the two of them catching up like old times, until she breaks the news that she thinks they should break up. As to her, everything falling apart around them feels like a sign they weren't meant to be. Daniel is crushed, but there's no talking her out of it. In the 8th episode, Natalie's quinceanera is approaching, but she senses little joy in the family and decides to use the event to bring them back together. The old man returns with mixed news that the shop can reopen in 2 weeks, but the renovation will cost double. Rafael makes a tough call that the money set aside for the quinceanera will go toward rebuilding. Mari is heartbroken after dreaming of this day for years and pleads with him to reconsider, but he stands firm. With Noah taking proper care of Louis and showering with all the love she can, his recovery is on track. Natalie takes the bold step to go seek help from her brother's recent ex, who agrees to help with the quinceanera. Daniel opposes receiving any help from the star, but his siblings and Noah prevail on him, and he accepts. They agree to use the cafe, the expanded part of the business, and while Daniel bakes the cake, everyone knows MC Cubano has to come back in full force to light the place up. Mateo meets up with Vanessa and invites her to the party, saying she deserves to see him perform live one last time before he heads back into retirement. She quickly connects the dots and points out that he's actually performing better live than in the studio. She tells him to take that seriously, then suggests another sit-down with Marlo, the producer who doesn't believe in him. He pushes back at first, but Vanessa breaks it down and gets him to see why giving it another shot might not be such a bad idea. That same day, she meets the producer and persuades him until he agrees to come watch Mateo play only on the condition that she takes him as her date. Rafael comes home to a bubbly family, and when he asks, he's told that the fashion icon is throwing the quinceanera as a gift to them, but he rejects it on the spot. He will not accept it, and his words are final. Mari has waited all her life for the occasion, and anything and anyone against it happening is directly against her happiness. Husband and wife argue in front of their guest, with Mari holding on to her decision to take the offer. The former lovers find themselves in close proximity, and they talk about how much they've missed each other, with old feelings starting to resurface. Their moment gets cut short when Mr. Garcia, who will now attend the party, makes something clear. His decision not to take the offer earlier had nothing to do with Noah, who totally understands and steps away. The party begins, and Mari is the most excited. Guests flock in with Daniel welcoming each one at the door while MC Cubano does his thing. Vanessa pulls up with Marlo, and the former lovebirds get talking until Noah shows up. Vanessa urges him to go talk to the star and lets him know that she thinks Noah is still into him. Daniel walks up to her, and they're both excited to reconnect. The party keeps rolling with everyone having a great time, and that includes Vanessa and Marlo. The DJ spots her dancing with the producer, and it gets under his skin, so he lowers the music and shifts the mood by announcing the father-daughter dance. Daniel's exes meet at the bathroom to shelve their differences, while Marlo fixes an appointment for Mateo to come record his song in his studio. Louis finally takes Noah's advice and reaches out to someone, choosing Trevor. He apologizes for pulling away and hopes they can start fresh. Between work and looking after Noah, he forgot how to love, but he's ready to change that now. After Natalie thanks everyone who has made the day a success, she surprises the room with a slideshow of her parents from back in the day. The touching photos stir up emotions, and her parents step away. In the kitchen, the longtime couple finally make up and make out. While Natalie is having a dance with her partner, Vanessa is having a meltdown after Marlo leaves without a word. Mateo thinks it's the producer's loss, and in fact, he has something better for her. He takes her to a property she's found hard to sell and advises her to flip it. He talks to her about her strengths, and right there, her eyes open up to possibilities. She tries to act dense, ignoring Mateo's advances, but she's just being a tough one, grabbing Mateo eventually to pull him close and kiss him passionately. Noah takes the chance to apologize to Daniel for their split, promising that she'll do better. He accepts the apology but would rather stick to normal life, away from cameras, even though he enjoyed the time spent with her. She gets it, and with teary eyes, she takes her leave. While working at a different bakery to help sort out bills till their own shop reopens, Daniel gets a visit from Thomas. The critic has seen the baker's videos and has a proposal. Daniel is thrilled, especially now that his dad has started showing interest in his content, so there's nothing holding him back from accepting Thomas's offer. In episode 9, Noah resumes as president of Noah Corp., but now leads with a bossy attitude and so much authority. Mateo and Vanessa wake up unclad and start to panic, wondering how they'd cope when people find out they had an affair. There's a knock at the door, and it's Daniel, prompting the DJ to hide while the lady attends to her ex. Elated, he immediately enters, revealing the news that Thomas has given him a proposal to make videos for the Miami Journal website. He wants her to be his representative, seeing that she's done a good job with Mateo, and she agrees. He also notices that she had someone spend the night and brings it up, but she quickly shuts him up and politely asks him to leave. Louis doesn't support the walls Noah keeps building to keep others out. He thinks she has to let go, enjoy life, and follow her heart. But she makes a snide comment that Louis doesn't take lightly, forcing him to walk out angrily. Piper agrees with Louis and hopes the star stops doing things that push her to the brink. Back at the bakery, Rick, a real estate developer, comes with an offer to buy the building. The family is told the news, but Natalie is most vocal about not selling it, meeting with Vanessa and inquiring about who Rick is. She finds out that Rick does buy properties but keeps a low profile to buy them at a cheaper price. The saddest part is that they also get to rid the property of its essence. Noah invites Colin over to hear what he thinks of her with regards to Louis's statement, and he confirms it to be true. He thinks it's almost impossible for a person of her status to have a thriving relationship with a normal person and advises her to make her own happiness, maybe visit Morocco before the filming starts. Daniel talks to Mateo, who urges him to go for what makes him happy. The baker thinks he made a mistake rejecting Noah the previous day, so he goes over to Noah Corp to set things straight. But coincidentally, he finds the former lovers hugging before Colin makes his way out. This paints a bad picture in Daniel's head, so he turns away. Noah shares her plan to go to Morocco with her two trusted allies, but they do not approve, alleging she's running away from something. With tears running down her cheeks, the star agrees that she's running away from the hurt behind Daniel's rejection. The boy returns to his dad, ready to embrace his world. Raphael offers to feature in one of his son's views, and they dive right in, savoring every bit of the experience together. The kid sister steps into the DJ's room to return his neck piece, which Vanessa had handed to her, and while she broods a little, guilt is written all over Mateo's face. She's appalled at first, but soon calms down and asks if he truly likes Vanessa, and of course he does. She suggests talking to Vanessa, and if the feeling is mutual, then they'll tell their older brother, but if not, it's a secret he'll carry for life. Rick finds his way back to the bakery with another juicy offer. It's an offer that everyone, except the little girl, is willing to consider, so Mari gently explains to her that change is a part of life. The Garcias gather around to have a bite of Papa's delicacy when Louis calls Daniel. He informs him that the fashion icon is madly in love with him and hopes that he can do the right thing and meet her before her trip to Morocco. Confused about it, his family urges him to go, and he agrees. Noah doesn't like goodbyes, so she leaves before Louis notices, inadvertently making Daniel arrive in her absence. Louis then drives them to the airport to stop her. Marlo finally calls Vanessa to let her know that a comment Mateo made about her put him off, so Vanessa calls him to scold him. With the phone on speaker, she addresses their sexual encounter the previous night, and it makes Daniel mad. Ironically, he's mad because he doesn't want to see Vanessa get hurt. So, he asks his brother how serious he is, and the man claims he's 100% serious, making the older brother talk to her and sort things out, while he continues his trip to the airport. Mateo arrives at Vanessa's, and surprisingly, Marlo's there after playing a song he wrote for her. He's sad about what he's just seen, but takes solace in the fact that Marlo is willing to introduce him to some artist he could write songs for. The manager and lover boy arrive at the airport late and aren't allowed to board even after buying tickets. Daniel is going back feeling dejected when he receives a call from Noah, who's hoping to see him. Apparently, Stargirl got off the plane before it took off, and the pair are now happy to see each other, kissing and showing that they miss each other a lot. They head back to the bakery to share the good news, and everyone's thrilled to have them back. With Pops and Mateo leaning toward keeping the bakery and the ladies preferring to sell, the deciding vote falls to Daniel. But before that, the couple makes an even bigger announcement. They're getting married.